So on the videos where I'm talking about free plugins that I think you guys should download or that I recommend, I've seen some people talking about stock plugins, like, why even bother? Like, just use the stock plugins. And I kind of agree to an extent. This video is just going to be going over the best FL stock plugins that I like to use and the kind of benefits. The main benefit, other than just convenience, is that they're more integrated into FL, so they take up way less CPU. Like, I've got a good amount loaded here, and I've got some instrument plugins loaded, and the CPU doesn't show you much, but they're a little bit better integrated into FL. They don't take as much CPU and stuff, and they're just more convenient. But some of them are also genuinely pretty solid plugins. So I'm going to go through and talk about the ones I like. And also, I just need to get my mind off the fact that Inter just lost the Champions League final 5-0. That was fucking awful. I wanted them to win, and they just didn't show up. So awesome. Let's get into some stock plugins. Now, the one plugin that FL does not have, in my opinion, is I don't think they have a very good compressor. The FL compressor, whatever the fuck it's called, doesn't have a lot of control. It's not that great of a compressor, and it just doesn't have a lot going on. I think it's a pretty common take in the community. Most people don't love FL compressor. I mean, it does the job. It's not anything special, though. So I would download this one. It's called TDR, called Livnov. It's a pretty solid compressor. Actually, it's quite a good one. So I would recommend downloading this. And then, other than that, you can just use stock plugins if that's what you're into. So let's go into it. Now, best reverb plugin is this, Fruity Convolver. There's a lot you can do in this. You can drag your own sounds in, which is cool. It's got, the normal wet dry knob and a shitload of presets. The best ones for me, Blur Pink and Blur White. I'd mess with these. They're really interesting. They do a lot of kind of blendy, washy reverb. Almost similar to that new plugin from Soundtoys that I talked about, Space Blender. Actually, a little bit similar to that. So I'd look into this Convolver. I mean, I think a lot of DAWs have a plugin like this, but this is definitely the best reverb plugin in FL. Fruity Reverb 2 is solid enough too, but I'd mess around with this one. Obviously for EQ, Fruity Parametric EQ. I'm not going to spend a long time talking about this. You already know. One thing I do want to bring up, though, that a commenter let me know about, I thought that this EQ didn't have like a band soloing feature, like, ZL EQ that I was talking about, or Pro Q 3 and 4. But if you hold shift and hold down on the bands, look at that. You can actually kind of, it's not quite as in-depth as those, but you can solo the bands. You can, I guess, I don't know all the controls, but look at that. Isn't that cool? So if you hold shift and click on these, you can solo the bands. I had no idea about this, and I've been using Fruity Parametric EQ for like 5 years now. Fruity Limiter, I still use this. The only problem with this is that it doesn't have an LUFS meter. So get something like Julian Loudness Meter 2. That's the free version of that. And then you're all set. It's got the ceiling gain. It doesn't have a bunch of different modes that you can change through, but honestly, at the end of the day, like, it's a limiter. Put this on your master, do what you need to do. And I still use this I still use this. And then Fruity Soft Clipper. This is basically a limiter, but not as brick wall. It's not as hard, so it lets a little bit of the information through. You can change the threshold and the post. A lot of trap producers use this to make their 808s and kicks hit a lot harder. Now, quickly for some good instrument plugins in FL, Flex is like the goated one for me. Some people stand behind Citrus, but for me, it's Flex. There's so many sounds in here, and also so much control. Like, look at all this, like filter envelopes. You can change some settings up here too. A lot of stuff going on here. This is where I get all my like wind sounds. There's some good pianos in here. I would use Flex. I think it's a very good free plugin. And if you have FL Cloud, you can also use more. I don't have it at the moment though, but there's like this Lo-Fi one and a couple others. And then I also actually think FL Keys is kind of an underrated piano plugin. I kind of wish I didn't buy the piano plugin I did, because yeah, this isn't anything special, but if you turn the hardness and muffle up, like what I have already done here, and mess with the release, you can get some kind of neat, textures that are good for like house and those kind of genres. So yeah, those are the best FL stock plugins in my opinion that I like using. Let me know if there's any that you like using. Again, the best reason to use these is for convenience, and some of them are solid plugins, and also just CPU. None of them are really CPU intensive from my experience.